AI is now capable of holding emotional conversations, remembering the tone, and even responding like a human. But the real question is this that I've been pondering and reflecting on. As machines learn to simulate emotions, are we as humans forgetting how to actually feel them? And that's a very, very important question that I'd like to put to you and just share some thoughts on this. OpenAI's ChatGPT-5, it's becoming more advanced. There's voice campaigns, other emotional AIs, and they're trending globally, right? And people are emotionally attached to them in terms of, they become friends with it. Some of their, people use it for therapy, some even as partners. But I guess the question that I'm toying with, what does it say about us when we've built machines to mimic empathy? Surely it means that we've lost it ourselves. It can't mean anything else, right? You create something to fill a void. And I think that's a very dangerous space to go down, right? In terms, if you look at therapy, for example, people are speaking to AI, and I've seen it. People I know asking it questions, very deep questions. How do I navigate this? How do I deal with this? Now, the thing is, we're far too nuanced to people, far too nuanced to creation, right? To be just a series of inputs put into AI that's going to give us the answers. You'll know from your own history, from your own experiences in life that, sometimes you might be feeling a particular way and you just need a tap on the shoulder, an arm around you, a smile. These are things that machine learning cannot give you. Right? So I think it's a very dangerous road to go down when AI isn't used correctly. I think actually it's one of the biggest dangers that we're facing going forward. As humans, we all crave connection, okay? But what we fear is vulnerability, right? It's like, for example, if you want to speak to that girl or speak to somebody or make a conversation with a stranger, you want to do it. You really want to do it, but you're vulnerable. You're afraid of rejection. You're afraid of how somebody might perceive you. But with AI, that's just all taken out, right? Because it's no judgment, no rejection, instant, and it's obedient, right? And it's also got a confirmation bias. It's very important to understand this. And life is often about having people around you that tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And that's a distinction that we need to make, right? So I think that's another thing that concerns me massively about AI is people's reliance on it for more than just business or work or building products. It's become almost a companion. And how can you become a companion of somebody who's created in the way that we've been created? We're a series of experiences, lived experiences and emotions that you can't really teach, and everything in society is now created for comfort, whether that's ordering your food, whether that's whatever it might be doing. Whereas the reality is most of the development and progress you make in life is within discomfort. So we've inadvertently made comfort our God, and comfort kills progress. It kills it completely, right? And, taking it a step further, there's a reason why, again, when you read religious texts and people are trying to find themselves or understand themselves, you're often told to connect to your creator, to go into silence, to reflect, to be still. You can't outsource the soul. You can't do that via tech, right? I will not ever be on board with that. Does AI have use cases? Absolutely. But there are some things that are so sacrosanct, and humans are one of them, and their emotions and their well-being and their intellect, these are all things that are very, very important. No algorithm can process actual ache, pain, and trials of being a human, no matter how many inputs you give it. As I said before, we are far too a nuanced creation. And if we lose that nuance to an algorithm, we'll have sort of perfect efficiency, but we're going to lose a lot of the essence and a lot of the compassion and purpose that makes us human. So I think it's very, very important to understand when it comes to, say, for example, AI, exactly how to utilize it, how to use it to your benefit. Like, for example, we use it, in places of work. We use it for, in some cases, creating products and stuff like that. So there are use cases for it. But I think let AI evolve, but don't devolve your heart and essence in the process, is what I'm saying. Let it assist your thinking, but don't let it replicate your feelings. And I think another very important thing that's been playing on my mind is if we look at Instagram, TikTok, various social media platforms, right? The algorithm is designed to feed us information that they want to feed us, right? And push these agendas on us. Now, what's to say that with AI, that's not going to be the case as well? Inevitably, the AI is going to be trained in such a way that their outputs to our inputs are going to be based on some kind of an agenda, right? And then that's again controlling the masses. That's again not allowing us to think critically. It's pushing these things on us. And I think this is why, in my opinion, it's very, very important for tech companies to use this progress ethically and morally, okay? I mean, tech is important, right? It's really, when something new comes out, it's really exciting, it's a shiny new thing. But there's a big responsibility to make sure that it's implemented correctly. And it's very incumbent upon us, the end user, to also understand and use these things moderately or correctly. Too much of anything is not good for you. Moderation is always the key, but I think the dependence on AI now, I think it's killing creativity. I think it's killing critical thinking. If you go back to some of the greatest eras in humanity, if you look at art, poetry, medicine, Renaissance times, all these kind of things, this was just all created by man's ability to sit and really think, really reflect, look inward. It's a creative spark, a moment of inspiration. What's going to happen to all that if everybody is now not doing that? If everybody is now just looking for the best input to get an output without doing the work? So I think that's really, really concerning, and I think that's really worrying. As I said, no problem with technology. Use it myself, but I think responsibly using AI, if we don't, we're going to end up with a society of people with pretty numb brains, no creative thinkers, no critical thinkers. And it makes me think a hypothetical situation. Imagine a 17 or a 16-year-old now, right? Is so dependent on AI, constantly AI, everything, every question, everything is on ChatGPT or on one of these AI platforms. What happens if he finds himself in a situation where he's isolated, without network, without connection, and he's got to navigate himself out of a problem or an issue? He's done. Because his mind is not as active as it once used to be. Because his reliance is so heavy that he's going to struggle. So I think, again, it's very, very important to not get too caught up in this. And most things in life are cyclical as well. They work in cycles, right? And I said at the moment, with the development of AI, we don't know when we're watching something on YouTube or an ad, we don't know what's real and what's not real. So I think there's going to come a time where people are going to be so fed up, because I said we all crave human interaction. We all want to feel connected to each other. And I think there's going to come a time where people who have got the best communication skills, the best personable skills, people will pay a premium to have access to them. They're not going to want to speak to machines. They're not going to want to do that. They're going to want to have a proper conversation, sit in a coffee shop and talk about their problems. I'm asking you, when was the last time you had a deep human conversation that didn't involve a screen? Tell me in the comments. This is, again, I'm just trying to understand where people are at. Where, did you have a conversation like that? A proper, deep, meaningful conversation. Phone down. No AI, no nothing. You just sat there. face to face. Doesn't have to be a hard conversation, but just a conversation. One of them. We all know them conversations where it feels great. You're really connected. You're speaking on a deeper level, and you're getting a lot off your chest. When was the last time you had that? And if we're not careful with the way that we manage social media, AI, and whatever myriad, because this is only going to get worse. There's only going to be more development and more advancement, and we're going to marvel in it, but at what cost? At what cost to our souls? At what cost to our minds, our ability to be human? It's called artificial intelligence. And if I was to use the word artificial and apply it to anything, you would say it was artificial, it's not real. And I think that's important to understand. Artificial intelligence is that artificial. The real intellect, the real intelligence is with you. Don't sacrifice it. Until next time.